Today on Newswatch, severe flooding hits Louisiana. See how residents are surviving and how you can help. Plus, a kindler and gentler debate before voting in Florida and Ohio. Did the change help any of the Republican candidates come out on top? And
when I was in school, they didn't teach me the way they should. But now that I understand, I want the kids to as well. If I can teach the teachers, then the kids will learn in the future.
watch as children and teachers are unlocking the power of reading. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. We begin with record-setting flooding in Louisiana. It's forcing thousands to evacuate. At least 3 people have been killed, and many are watching in fear, with forecasters predicting more rain. Heather Sells has this story.
People in northern Louisiana have been getting out while they can. Entire subdivisions are underwater, and more rain is expected. The big concern right now, the threat of a levee breach. It's why the governor has ordered a mandatory evacuation for more than 3,000 homes. In some areas, more than 20 inches of rain has fallen, triggering rescues by boat and special vehicles designed for high water. Operation Blessing is helping families in northern Louisiana with their damaged homes. Carol Chavis's home took in 3 feet of water.
About 5 o'clock in the morning, my husband got up. He heard some noises downstairs and went downstairs to check and stepped into a foot of water.
The severe weather is not confined to Louisiana. Up to 10 inches of rain has fallen in communities along the Mississippi in states like Tennessee and Arkansas. The rain is also pummeling parts of Texas.
It's going to happen. There's not much use in worrying about it because it's just a fact of life. When it rains this much at one time in these areas, it floods.
Forecasters say the region can expect more rain through Sunday, but it's expected to be light and scattered, which could help end further flooding and allow homes and properties to begin drying out. Heather Sells, CBN News.
America says goodbye to Nancy Reagan today. For 2 days, the public has lined up to pay their last respects to the former First Lady and wife of President Ronald Reagan at his library in Simi, California.
I had a lot of respect for the Reagans and for Nancy.
This lady meant a lot. I've seen her do wonderful things for the community.
Speakers at the service include her children, Ron Jr. and Patty Davis. The guest list full of names reflecting the Reagans' years in Hollywood to those in public service, including 4 of the 5 last First Ladies and family members of every president dating back to John F. Kennedy. Last night's Republican presidential debate took a sharp turn from the last time the candidates met. For the first time, there were no personal attacks. It's quite a contrast from most of the debates this cycle. CBN's David Brody reports now from Miami.
A strange sight and sound in South Florida.
I cannot believe how civil it's been up here.
Donald Trump set the tone for the evening.
One of the biggest political events anywhere in the world is happening right now with the Republican Party. Millions and millions of people are going out to the polls and they're voting. The Republican establishment, or whatever you want to call it, should embrace what's happening.
Even with this kinder, gentler approach, attention focused on the frontrunner when it came to policy differences.
And I want to leave Social Security as is. I want to make our country rich again so we can afford it.
Anyone who tells you that Social Security can stay the way it is lying.
On trade, Ted Cruz took issue with Trump's threat to level a 45% tax on the Chinese, believing that they would just pass it on to American consumers.
How does it help you to have a president come and say, I'm going to put a 45% tax on diapers when you buy diapers, on automobiles when you buy automobiles, on clothing when you buy clothing? That hurts you.
Honestly, it's just the opposite. What will happen if they don't behave? We will put on a tax of some amount, and it could be a large amount, and we will start building those factories and those plants, instead of in China, we'll build them here, and people will buy product from here rather than buying it through China, where we're being ripped off.
The candidates also disagreed on pursuing peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Trump has received criticism for saying that he'd be neutral in negotiations.
I don't think we need a commander-in-chief who is neutral between the Palestinian terrorist and one of our strongest allies in the world, the nation of Israel.
I'm a negotiator. If I go in, I'll say I'm pro-Israel, and I've told that to everybody and anybody that would listen. But I would like to at least have the other side think I'm somewhat neutral as to them so that we can maybe get a deal done.
There is no peace deal possible with the Palestinians at this moment. There just isn't.
I don't believe there is any long-term permanent peace solution, and I think pursuing that's the wrong thing to do.
Trump also had to defend his recent comments that he thinks Islam hates America.
Did you mean all 1.6 billion Muslims?
I mean a lot of them. I mean a lot of them.
I know that a lot of people find appeal in the things Donald says because he says what people wish they could say. The problem is presidents can't just say anything they want. It has consequences here and around the world.
I don't want to be so politically correct. I like to solve problems.
The question of a contested convention also came up in case no one secures enough delegates to win the nomination outright.
You have to earn the delegates in order to be picked, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
First of all, I think I'm going to have the delegates, okay? I think. Let's see what happens.
Cruz tried to use the moment to tout his success against Trump.
We have at this point beaten Donald in 8 separate states all over the country.
But I beat him in 13 contests. He never mentions that.
What Cruz does mention is his belief that Trump's voters are not very well informed. Those remarks to CBN News led to major headlines across the country.
Listen, Donald does well with voters who have relatively low information, who are not that engaged and who are angry, and they see him as an angry voice.
After the debate, Trump pushed back.
My voters are very, very high-end and smart, and we really cover every spectrum.
The question going forward is, will there be a home field advantage when voters go to the polls next Tuesday? In other words, will Marco Rubio win here in Florida, and will John Kasich win in Ohio? If both lose and Trump wins, well, then Ted Cruz will finally get that one-on-one matchup he's been wanting for some time. But will it be too late? David Brody, CBN News, on South Beach in Miami, Florida.
Turn now to California, where terminally ill patients are one step closer to being able to end their lives with doctor-prescribed drugs. A special legislative session on health care ended Thursday, beginning a 90-day countdown to the physician-assisted suicide. The law passed last year, but it's been on hold. Now it will go into effect June 9th. Religious hospitals are exempt from the law, and they can ban doctors from taking part in physician-assisted suicide. Disability rights advocates say the law does not do enough to protect terminally ill patients from being coerced into ending their lives. ISIS is committing genocide against Christians and other religious groups. That is the report from the Knights of Columbus. The Catholic fraternal group issued the report detailing how Christians have been killed, kidnapped, raped, and how religious property has been destroyed. Earlier this month, the White House said the legal determination for using the word genocide had not been met. This report proves otherwise, and Congress has put a deadline on the State Department and White House to make a decision. And tune back in with us next week as our own Jennifer Wishon brings us a special report from the area. The Islamic State is expanding in Libya. The United Nations says the militant group has significantly expanded its control in the conflict-torn country because of its political and security vacuum. Security experts presented this information in a report to the UN Security Council Thursday. It says all parties in the conflict continue to receive illicit weapons, and some are getting them with support from UN member countries. Libya has been considered a failed state since the ouster and death of longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi that happened back in 2011. Coming up, we're going to take you inside a country with one of the worst literacy rates in the West, where the teachers are now getting a class in Reading 101. Education can help children think critically and to solve problems. Those abilities are greatly needed in Haiti, where illiteracy is a serious problem. There's not even a word for literacy in the Creole language. So one group of U.S. educators wants to help Haitian children learn to read. But as Caitlin Burke shows us, first, they have to teach the teachers.
These children are learning to read, something that doesn't happen too often here in Haiti.
Most of the teachers here don't know how to teach reading, and many of them don't know that you actually can teach reading because it's all memorization, recitation. So if you can memorize all the words, you read.
A few times a year, a group of American teachers travel to Haiti. Their mission? To help the teachers here teach literacy more effectively.
The book where we can all see it.
Reading is the most important thing that we can teach children. Without reading, they will always stay right where they are.
In Haiti, the methods of education are considered outdated and ineffective. Teachers often call out words, and the children recite them back. They learn memorization rather than reading and comprehension.
Teachers tell us who their high readers are, and so we go and we listen, and yeah, they are reading fluently and reading all the letters, and then we ask what they're reading. They can't tell you. So they're not comprehending at all.
Bobby Sully has brought American teachers to Haiti since 2012. They serve as examples of what it takes to teach literacy. And then they work with the Haitian teachers to try the methods with their students.
I try to tell them every time, this is not going to be easy. This is going to be really hard because you've never seen it before. But there's usually, I'll say 3 or 4 at every school who's willing to learn, who wants to learn, who takes in everything we say and tries it immediately. For those teachers, they see the benefits, and they begin to see the benefits very quickly.
A big challenge facing the Americans is that 2 languages are spoken in Haiti, French and Creole.
Creole is the native language. French is the language of power. So everybody thinks that children, when they enter school, should immediately start learning how to teach French or how to read French. But I know through research in the States and all over the world, children are going to learn to read if they read in their native language first. So the children that we're working with come from native Creole-speaking homes. They don't speak French. And they immediately in kindergarten, they start speaking to them and talking to them and writing words up on the board that are French. They have not a clue, and so they memorize.
While their task seems overwhelming at times, they're encouraged by Haitian teachers who care deeply and truly want their kids to learn. Teachers like Madeline. Since meeting her over a year ago, Bobby has taught her what she needs to know about making a difference to others. Madeline will now work with teachers and help them to put the new methods into practice.
I think that's how you sustain a country. I think that's how they learn to depend on themselves. People from the outside, they're never going to learn to depend on themselves to know things if I'm always coming in here to tell them. I want them to have confidence in what they know.
Madeline says she's passionate about this new approach and knows that it can lead to a better future for Haiti.
When I was in school, they didn't teach me the way they should. But now that I understand, I want the kids to as well. If I can teach the teachers, then the kids will learn in the future.
If Haiti's children and young adults are educated, they can slowly begin to impact their communities and even their country. But for some more immediate change, the adults must learn as well. Operation Blessing International started offering a class for adults in one of their communities outside of Port-au-Prince. This after parents of the children attending the OB school there requested it.
We want the parents to be able to help the students with their homeworks and just support them. But very basic things like being able to write their own names, counting how many children and cousins and family members they have. And also most of the women here, they do their little businesses. They either sell fish or other goods. So we also teach here basic maths that they can benefit from.
I want to read the Bible, and I want to read the songs. And when the kids come home from school, I can check what they do in school. They cannot lie to me anymore.
The first class of 32 students recently graduated, and there are now 27 new students going through the program. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Up next, The Young Messiah. It is the new film that explores an age-old question. What was Jesus like as a child? The classic biblical film, The Ten Commandments, is turning 60.
Fear not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord.
The film is heading back to the big screen in select theaters later this month as part of the TCM Big Screen Classic Series. The Ten Commandments remains one of the highest grossing titles of all time. Well, filmmakers are giving us a look at the life of Christ from a very different perspective. Young Messiah hits theaters today, March 11th, and as the title suggests, we will see a much younger Jesus. Young Messiah is a scripture-inspired film that imagines Jesus as a child, a 7-year-old, whose parents face many challenges. It's based on the Anne Rice novel, Christ the Lord, Out of Egypt.
About 5 years ago, the book kind of fell into our lap.
Cyrus Nowrasteh directed the film and co-wrote the screenplay with his wife. How does a story about Jesus as a child differ from the Jesus we're so familiar with as an adult in the Bible?
Right. Well, the Jesus that we're familiar with was our guide for how he acted and acts as a child in our movie. Okay, he has to be consistent. There's inherent risks when you're going into material about Jesus that's not directly from the Bible. So we took that responsibility very seriously. We talked to, theologians, scholars, I had priests, pastors, friends.
A lot of research obviously went into this, but this film hangs on the back of this young guy here.
He was here. He was here beside me. Please. Help me find the boy. The boy was here.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Who are you?
You saved me once before.
Who was you?
You were also at Bethlehem.
How could you know that?
How on earth do you find a kid that young who could do this?
He's an amazing child, playing an amazing child. We did a global search. I had casting directors all over the world. One day I got a call from a casting director in London who said, we just saw a child who made the hair stand up on the back of our necks. She sent me the tape. I flew to London, put him through an exhaustive audition process, met his parents. His name is Adam Graves Neal. And Adam, I just think, is wonderful. He's got this quality on screen that is very rare, even for big-time movie stars, which is the camera loves him. And if he's playing Jesus, that helps. So, he's fantastic.
In terms of producing this and directing this and getting this story told, I imagine it had to have some sort of impact on you personally, your personal faith, or does your faith have an impact on the film? How would you describe it?
I'd say a little bit of both. My journey started years ago, probably when I got married, because I'm of Muslim origin, but I was raised in a secular home. And it started when I got married, and it's been sort of a gradual process through the years, through the experiences of my own sons. And, it seemed just sort of natural to me and kind of perhaps preordained that I should tell this story. It just felt right.
And this story hits theaters today. It has been 5 years in the making. I saw it, and quite an engaging film. Stay with us. We are coming right back. Well, the weekend is here, and that means it is time for our family-friendly movie reviews. For that, we turn to Bob Warlaszewski with focus on the families plugged in online. So, Bob, let's start with the sci-fi thriller 10 Cloverfield Lane. What'd you think of it?
This is a J.J. Abrams film. Of course, he brought us Lost. It deals with a young woman who has a car wreck, and when she wakes up from the car wreck, she finds out she's in an underground bomb shelter. The guy who built the bomb shelter is there with her, as well as another individual, and basically tells her, above ground, everybody is dead. The air is poisonous. We can't breathe it. We're in here to survive. It's a good thing I found you and brought you and saved your life. Of course, she doesn't believe it, and we as viewers are a little skeptical too. It's a big mystery movie, intense movie. The biggies that often are problematic are missing. There's no nudity, there's no sex, there's no misuses of our Savior's name. There is some gore. This one got a surprising, probably, on the bubble 3 out of 5 for family friendliness, which is neither a thumbs up nor a thumbs down, but certainly not for younger kids, but maybe older teens. This one has some possibilities.
Okay, well, as we mentioned before the break, a new movie about the life of Christ is hitting theaters. What's your take on The Young Messiah? Did it honor what we know from the Bible about younger Jesus? What do you think?
I went into I've seen the film twice now. And the first time was about 6 months ago. And this was when no one was talking about it. It was a brand new film. It's about the boyhood of Jesus Christ. Would you like to see it? Absolutely want to see it. I want to see any film. But I went into this total skeptic, say, there is no way I'm going to like this film. The Bible's silent about a 7-year-old Jesus. We know at 12 he went to the temple. We know about his birth. But other than that, we know nothing. How are you going to make a 2-hour film about a period of life we know nothing about? And when the credits rolled, I went in as a skeptic, came out as a believer. I said, this is a film that's respectful of Jesus Christ that we know in the Scriptures. This is a film that's respectful of the Scriptures themselves. And what I saw happening on screen, although might not be true, could possibly be true. Now, any film about Jesus, and there's been about 100 of them made, Hollywood has made over the years, all of them have controversy. All of them have people that don't like it. And this film will be no different. But I will say personally, I like this film, and I think people will be very surprised if they go see it.
I agree with you. I saw it, thought it was quite good. Bob, thank you as always.
You bet, Jeffrey.
And next week, you can look forward to Miracles from Heaven and another sci-fi special called Midnight Special. We'll bring you more on that next week as well. Well, finally, this hour, it is time for your Friday Faithful. And I encourage you to purpose in your heart today, this weekend, and in the week to come, that you will allow yourself to be used by God. He is waiting to touch the entire world, and He wants to do it through you. So remember this, you don't have to be affluent for God to use you. You only have to be available. So the prayer today is, Lord, I am available. Use me. With that word, make this a fabulous Friday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Find us on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll join us again right here next time. Once again, make this a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here come Monday.